Welcome to Unchained here on Pahrump News. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Tiffany Whitecloud.
All right, so how are you doing today, by the way?
I'm doing great.
We had the Wild West Extravaganza this weekend. Had a little bit of problems with the weather out there.
It was wild weather.
It's a wild, wild west. But we're hoping next year, we will have a little bit better weather. It'll be a little bit better all the way around. But, I got to say, thank you to Paula Elefante for everything that she did. She is a fantastic lady who always puts on a great powwow and really went to a lot of work for this, her and Jim Hanna especially, and Reva Braun. Thanks so much, guys, for putting this event on. And unfortunately, the weather didn't behave, but we still had a good time anyways out there.
Could you imagine having to ride horses and pull a wagon through that weather?
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah, when we were driving over to the park, that's what came to my mind. I was like, I can't imagine having to pull a wagon in this weather through Pahrump.
Well, I want to thank Terry Rogers for coming out with the line dancing group, and Danny Pillman for showing up there, and of course the band Perception for being there, putting up the stage, and of course your dad, George Goulson, for doing so much and helping out with so many things, and getting all the sound going and hanging out with me this afternoon. And we're just so grateful to everybody who helped out on this event. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, there's a couple things that we have for some news that's happening, but we do want to tell you we got a special guest on today, and that is Dr. Suzanne Zervantian from All Creatures Animal Hospital. We're going to talk to her a little bit about what's going on with our animals, some of the most common things that happen with animals, maybe some tips and tricks and all that stuff. But first, you're going to tell us about some of the top news that's going on right now?
Yes. So Justice of the Peace Michelle Fiore has not returned back to her courtroom as of yet, following being pardoned by the President of the United States. She was convicted of wire fraud and conspiracy. A federal jury found Fiore to be guilty of cheating donors who believed they were giving money to a Las Vegas fallen officer memorial. President Trump issued a full and unconditional pardon weeks before her sentencing. Fiore posted on her Facebook page that she was looking forward to returning to the bench this past week. The Judicial Discipline Commission had initially suspended her with pay, and after a guilty verdict, they took her pay away. They have now reinstated her pay. Fiore commented that she was pardoned not because men permitted it, but because God ordained it. If the panel decides there is not currently a basis for the past suspension, the commission said it will then determine whether Fiore poses a substantial threat of serious harm to the public or to the administration of justice because of a criminal case. A hearing is set for Friday. Fiore says she understands that there is a process and she will honor that. She remains worried that they may be pursuing a new suspension. Judge Michael Foley has been the interim judge since January.
Yeah, we did talk to Michelle Fiore and ask her to come on the show, but she wants to wait until everything is settled, and understandably, so many things are up in the air right now. So hopefully we'll get her on the show and talk to her a little bit about what is going on, and get some updates.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, a couple of events are happening. One for the robotics team. They're going to have another event coming up in June, and you can go on the Pahrump News page to find out all the details. And if you miss any part of this, always go to the Pahrump News page. You can see the post, you can see people's flyers, and we put everything up there that we're talking about usually. The VFW Post is hosting the 5th annual Sock Hop. That's on Saturday, May 17th. There's going to be a classic TV dinner menu. That's going to be so much fun. A 50-50 raffle, gift baskets, a car meet and greet, music and dancing. That's from 5 to 7 p.m. And this is all, once again, to benefit the Pahrump Youth Robotics team. We are always cheering them on all the time. If you want to get your tickets, you go to the VFW Post right there on Homestead Road, right off of Mans, and get some tickets to that sock hop. I hear it's so much fun. I want to go.
Do you have to wear a poodle skirt?
You definitely have to wear a poodle skirt. All right, when we return, we'll have Suzanne Zervantian, doctor of All Creatures Animal Hospital. All right, I'm joined with veterinarian Suzanne Zervantian. How are you doing today?
Just awesome.
Oh, good. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on, because you own All Creatures Animal Hospital. For how many years now?
Going on 18.
Wow, fantastic. So how's it going there?
Busy. All of the practices
Yeah.
in town are very busy. Yeah.
How many do we have total here in town?
5? 5.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of animals here. Of course, rural areas typically have a lot of animals.
Right.
And you treat what type of animals typically?
Primarily what we call small animals. So those are your, normal household pets, cats and dogs. Occasionally we'll see some guinea pigs or rabbits. I don't do a lot of large animal. In fact, I don't do large animal. Every once in a while we've got a goat come in or had a goat come in or a pig.
Yeah.
Small pigs. Yeah.
So do we have kind of a unique area here as far as animals and how you treat them? What's a typical vet day for you like?
Well, in our practice, we normally start out about 7 a.m. in the mornings when we open. That's when we do our surgical check-ins or other procedures that are going to require anesthesia. Mm-hmm. And so we do the check-ins between 7 and 8. In the meantime, then we start seeing rooms or put patients in exam rooms, and we're actively looking at those animals and doing any other labs or procedures that we need to do. And then in that interim, we're also running most of our anesthetic procedures. We're running pre-anesthetic lab work, so that's ready to go. And then about 10 a.m., we start doing either the dentals or any other surgeries that we're going to be doing till about 2 p.m. and trying to get lunch breaks in there if possible.
Yeah.
And then from 2 to about 4 or 5, we're back in exam rooms, or I'm back in exam rooms.
How large is your staff?
We have 9
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
mostly full-time. There's a couple of part-time in there.
So tell me, and I got some questions right here. What typical cases do you see?
So typical cases, I mean, we do our health maintenance exams, which usually are looking at for their annual exam. Sometimes they require vaccinations, and we'll do that, or any annual lab work, especially on senior pets or any animals that are on ongoing medications. We want to monitor those levels. And then we see the other things that pop up in the morning: vomiting, diarrhea, coughing, sneezing, lethargy. There's just a whole host of things that may come in. Other, soft tissue injuries, limping, lameness.
What's one of the most challenging things about being a veterinarian?
Well, of course, they can't always talk. Our patients can't always talk. Yeah. So we have to try to put that puzzle together, and based on a really thorough physical exam and a good history from the caregiver or owner, and then do any appropriate diagnostics to try to narrow that down if we can't find anything obvious.
Yeah, difficult, isn't it? Yeah. Tell me about how do you stay up to date with some of the latest advances? Because that's something that you guys have to do all the time, right? You have to go back to school.
Well, it's called continuing education. The state of Nevada requires 40 hours of continuing education every 2 years for veterinarians, and then 20 hours every 2 years for licensed veterinary technicians. And so it has to be approved continuing education. Some of it can be done online. I like to attend veterinary conferences in person and get to network with other veterinarians and see what the latest is in technology and treatment protocols. And so we have one of the largest veterinary conferences here in Las Vegas, or there in Las Vegas, usually during February or March every year.
Yeah, tell me about that, because you do have a relationship with the other veterinarians, even here locally. What is that like?
Right. We're all very busy, and all of us are solo practitioners with the exception of one of the other larger animal veterinary hospitals here in town, and they have a few more staff, and they are open 7 days a week, which is a plus. So sometimes one practice or another can't take in a patient. They're maxed out, they're overbooked. And so we'll call on one another and see, hey, can you see this one? And do that ahead for the client so they don't have to go to Las Vegas or go without care. Doesn't always work that way, but we all kind of help each other out. Sometimes if we're out of some kind of supply, usually not medications, but some kind of supply to run labs, in-house labs, we may have to borrow from one another.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
That's kind of
that
nice that you guys
relationship.
work together.
Yeah.
What is it as far as equipment? Because you have to update equipment all the time, right? There's new technologies.
There's certain things that are required. The state of Nevada Veterinary Board of Medical Examiners requires, for example, if you're going to be doing any type of dental work, that you must have a digital dental x-ray to do intraoral x-rays. And then digital x-ray is not required, but I believe everybody has that now. That's really been the thing. 10, 14 years now. We have an ultrasound unit, and we have a therapeutic laser, and then the basics, the regular an x-ray machine, in-house laboratory, full pharmacy.
What types of health issues do you typically see here in town, and is it unique?
I wouldn't say they're unique, but I think they're more concentrated out here in the rural area versus Las Vegas. We do see, talk about foxtail season. That's coming on right now, early spring.
Yeah, that's always an issue, isn't it? And it can become a huge health concern, right?
It can. Those foxtails, which are, it's basically like a seed on or grass on, can migrate very rapidly, and they only go in one direction, forward.
Yeah.
So if they get in between the toes or get in an ear and start going, it can be very painful, can cause other infections. We actually had a case a few years ago where we're not sure how it entered the system. It might have been the dog was eating them, went through the esophagus, but it migrated through the lungs.
Wow.
We had a collapsed lung on the dog. It ended up making it antibiotics, and a few months later, that foxtail migrated itself out and was trying to get out through the body on the chest wall.
Wow.
So we had to go in and surgically.
I get it.
Yep.
Yeah, because I remember my mom had one time where they got on the side. I believe it was you that cut them out. Her dogs had a couple of them because her whole yard had foxtails.
They migrate.
Got to keep them down, huh?
Yeah, they can migrate because dogs will chew on grass and things like that, and then those things will go through, and they slowly will migrate through soft tissue and close off after it. So it's not like there's a hole there.
Yeah.
But there's some sensitive areas that they can get to.
So can you tell me about some of the equipment that you have?
Right. We just acquired a couple months ago a therapeutic laser.
How's that working out for you?
Great. It's great for wound healing, pain, sore joints, any type of thing like that.
So that's really
Ear
something
infections,
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. And are there any services here in the rural area that our residents lack that you could get other places, or that you would hope that we had here, or even you yourself would love to get?
We're still limited on emergency services, especially after hours. And so even if there is a veterinarian or a practice that can take them in after hours, there isn't really any practice that is there 24 hours.
Yeah.
So to hospitalize, if it's a critical care patient, we lack that. Then we do diagnostic imaging. We lack that, so we can't do more of the advanced, say, MRI, CT scan, and so forth, beyond X-ray and ultrasound.
And then you typically refer patients during those hours to Vegas hospitals.
We do.
Yeah.
Because there isn't really anyone here at this point that's open 24. We do need that. That's a long way to drive.
What's kind of a good tip for keeping your pet healthy? Like what? Tell me some tips.
Well, your good quality food.
And what is good quality food? I know you can't name names.
No. One that has the appropriate ingredients, that has been tested, that it meets those qualifications for your pet's age.
Yeah.
And sometimes even breed.
Because that's important, right?
It is. Can maintain their weight. Annual wellness or health maintenance exams, whether they need vaccines or not. Just to be seen. So get that exam, catch anything that's early. As I said, maintain their weight, make sure that they have clean food and water, adequate shelter if they are outside.
Yeah.
And
tell me, everybody wants to know this. What inspired you to want to be a vet?
I just always liked working with animals and having them in my life. By the time I graduated from high school, I decided I didn't really want to go to that much more school, and it was difficult for a woman to get into vet school. This was in the 80s. So I went into a different profession. It was in human healthcare. And then I had a cat, this was back in 1995, that ended up dying of cancer. And that was a rough road. And it inspired me to want to be a vet. And the vet that I was using at that time in Las Vegas was encouraging me to do that and said I could do it. And so I did. Moved away, went to vet school in Oklahoma, and graduated in 2003.
Let's talk about that. Because you probably meet a lot of people who want to be vets. What's some advice that you have for them?
To be well-rounded. It's not just about grades. It is very competitive. So grades are great, but you have to have, the other aptitude tests, but I always recommend have other extracurricular activities, whether it's 4-H or even if it's sports, something outside of just animals. They want a well-rounded, not just a book smart person.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Suzanne Zervantian, All Creatures Animal Hospital. I know you're booked right now for new patients, but there might be a waiting list.
Sometimes,
sure.
yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
And she's right off of Basin Avenue. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Deanna.
All right. Well, I really wanted you to be part of that interview with Suzanne. She's so much fun.
I know.
But you got to see her. I know. And she loves you so much. She loves to see you perform. She loves your voice. She's super, just a big fan. So she's fangirling.
I love her back. Yes.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Suzanne, for coming on by. We got to say something special, though, because there's a special day coming up.
Yes. It's Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there.
Yes. Mother's Day is Sunday. Don't forget Lennon. Or any other.
Yes.
Lennon told me, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry I missed Mother's Day this past weekend." I go, "Well, you didn't miss it. So, yay."
It's coming up.
So don't forget about Mother's Day. Take your mom somewhere special. There's a bunch of deals in town. And if you can't take her somewhere, just spend some time with her. That's my currency, just spending time with me. I don't care about gifts too much. I just want them to spend time with me and hug me.
Or rub my feet. I've got 3 kids. One can do my feet. One can do my shoulders.
Yeah.
One can do my head.
Just be spoiled. Definitely.
Yeah.
So much fun. Well, we hope everyone has a happy Mother's Day out there. And we'll see you next time here on Unchained. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Tiffany Whitecloud.
Good night.